guys bully you around. I'm like, listen, let's be professional about this. I cannot take $46,000 in the box. Just cannot do it. It's not legal. So you've got to call the customer, and you've got to let them know, customer service, whoever you got to call, you got to let them know that you can't take your full purchase order. I am illegal. Too heavy. So after I explained the situation, without raising my voice, I said, okay, I got you. I'll take out 2 pallets. And I said, in the meantime, we rework minimum of 5-6 pallets. Instead of sticking them straight in, turn them to the side, this way it'll distribute the weight a little bit better. It's like, really? I go, you guys don't know this? I mean, you're a shipper and receiver. Don't you know how to distribute weight? So apparently they did it because they were in and out, in and out, in and out. And so my tandems came in good. My drives came in good, legal. I'm as far back as I can legally go. I'm in a 12th hole. And yeah, so that's the moral of the story. You see something that, anything over 45,000 pounds, you got to question it. That's the heaviest load I've actually ever heard since I've been driving. Usually a 43, 44, mid 44, 44.5, 44.6. I've never had someone say it's 46,000. I immediately stopped in my tracks and said, no, not happening. Not taking it. Time of 1,500, and again, when I finally picked up the last, because they had to redo the paperwork and put a new seal on there after reworking it. It's one of those places where you don't open your doors, they open them from the inside, which I like. That's the way they all should be. It's a newer building, obviously. Just make sure that your seal is correct. What's on the paperwork. So they had 309, and I said, well, you gotta change this, because that time you reworked everything, it became 415 or 1650, and they wouldn't do it. So I'm like, okay, no worries. And so I just crossed out the 309 or 1509. And in its place, I put 1415, and I just made a comment with an asterisk. I had to rework due to weight. So when I made my depart call, she's like, I just want to remind you, make sure you have the in and out times. I said I did. So I also made a note. It had to be reworked, because they knew I was there for a long time. I got checked in at 9:30. I actually got there at 7:30. And they're really strict over there, but that's the slowest shipper half hour and got a complete reset. But I'm in no rush. This load doesn't have to be there until Monday morning at 3 a.m. or late Sunday night. So I'm going to do 377 miles today. Brings me to the Loves. And I'll do the remainder tomorrow. There's another Loves about 5 miles away from the receiver. So I'll make sure I get there nice and early tomorrow. This way I can get a complete reset in. Go from there. Hope everybody's doing well. Everyone's safe. Supposedly there's another storm coming for midweek, next week. It's kind of like a rinse and repeat type scenario. ain't scraping much. Should be salted. But we're almost out of it. Got another few miles. There's little bands I come across. The lake. I don't know what lake this is. Lake. Might be Lake. No, it ain't Lake Erie. It ain't Huron. Might be Lake Superior. It's amazing how Mother Nature works. See, the lakes back in the day used to get frozen, so you wouldn't get. It'd be the first part of the winter where you get the lake effect snows. Now that the lakes don't freeze over anymore, as soon as the air temperature gets cold and you have a northwest wind, it picks that moisture up and throws it back on land. And hence what's called lake effect snow. Sun's coming out. Most of this is just because I'm in an open farmland, in the plains, so to speak. Most of this is just wind-blown snow off the land. Sleep last night, finally. Saturday morning. It's quiet. The way I like it. Got my 70-hour clock built back up to over 30 hours. Monday. It's amazing how fast the weeks go by. This is only my second trip. In retrospect, I should have turned this load down. Why, you ask? Why? It's too much time on the load. Even though it's paying well, it's too much time. This load should be delivering. This load should be delivering tonight or tomorrow, not Monday morning. Only had 750 miles to go. And even with my split, I had a fresh 8-hour clock. So if the load was due tomorrow, I would have ran a lot further last night. I only went 75 miles to the first rest area because there's no rush. Where am I going? You know, I push it. And yeah, when you're a lease operator, you know, these are mistakes I still make. I'm always anxious to go pick it up, because I want to run, and I'm like, bare bones minimum of 500 a day. It's paying a little bit more than that. It's paying close to the $625 a day for my truck, me and my truck. But too much time. Like I dropped off a load on Thursday. See that over there, folks? You see what happens when you go too fast? There you go. In the ditch. Now, Thursday is when the storm hit. So I wasn't going too far with that. That's fine. So I'll pick it up a load Friday. Should be delivering no later than Sunday. Get a load Sunday after I deliver. But I trust my fleet manager. At the end of the day, I trust that even though this is too much time on the load, he'll give me another load before the pay period's up. So I certainly do not want a load that delivers after 4 p.m. on Tuesday. On Wednesday, excuse me. Because then this week turns out to be not such a great week. And I'm trying to be consistent with the minimum 6,000 gross a week. Now I understand sometimes it doesn't work out that way, and I get it. I don't really, even though I look at it week to week, I really look at my monthly earnings. What did I make in a month? Because this week could be my bare bones minimum, but my next week could be stellar. So that's where you're going to lose your mind too if you look at it week to week, week to week. Don't get into the habit of that, because hey, sometimes that's the way the loads fall, right? I mean, listen, if I get a great paying load and don't deliver it till late Wednesday night or Thursday, hey, it is what it is. I know that great paying load is on the following week's check, and I still got the 5, 6 days to run. So don't panic out. But again, I like to be a little strategic. I've got to learn to don't be so rambunctious in taking a load. I do look at the dollar signs, and I think we all should look at the dollar signs, but sometimes, and it doesn't happen very often, so I'm just, I don't know, talking the talk. But when you've got nearly 3 days to go 700 miles, that's really too long on the load. It's all wind-blown snow right there, right in front of me. I don't know if you can see it. Crazy. All right, folks, that's about it. BigH Trucking is on out. We've only got about 235 miles to drive. Got all day to do it. No reason to take a break today. Drive right through it. Got plenty of time. I got over 6 hours on my clock, so I'll be there. Anyway, enough of the chitter-chatter. BigH is out. Stay safe. Make great decisions. next step should not be downwards or sideways. Your next step in the career should always go up another rung. So my next rung would be getting my own truck and trailer, running my own lane. And that should be, if you're a lease operator, how could you ever go back down and get cents per mile? You know? So that's why I'm going to be a primer for as long as I pass my physicals, my DO2. But hey, listen, for you young folks, I get it. You know, you see those advertisements on the back of the truck. There's a $25,000 bonus, $10,000 sign-on bonus. Well, guess what? Somebody's that desperate